All right, today's note's very short and sweet. We're just going to be talking about how to do a composition of transformations. Composition of transformations is, of course, any combination of transformations that you might see. We do need to keep a couple things in mind when we're doing composition of transformations. Uh, the main thing that we have to remember is that we have to do all of the transformations that are listed. We can't skip any. We can't just decide we don't want to do any. We need to do them all. The other thing that we need to remember is that we have to do them in order. Okay, so we have to do them as they are prescribed, follow them. It's very important that we follow them in order. Okay, so if you look at number 1 here, it tells us that PQR has vertices at 1, 1, 2, 5, and 4, 2. So we are going to determine the coordinates of the vertices of the image after a translation along a vector of -4, 0 and a reflection over the x-axis. So when we think about a translation along -4, 0, that means we are going to be sliding this figure 4 units to the left. So we can think about, P prime, Q prime, R prime as all we have to do is subtract 4 units from the x values. So P was at 1, 1, so 1 minus 4 is -3. And then, of course, we don't do anything to the y. Q is at 2, 5, so 2 minus 4 is -2. And R was at 4, 2. So 4 minus 4 is at 0. So now P prime, Q prime, R prime are going to be at those locations. So -3, 1, -2, 5, and 0, 2. Okay, so that is the first transformation, which is a translation. Secondly, we're going to do a reflection over the x-axis. So when we think about a reflection over the x-axis, think about Q double prime, R double prime. When we reflect over the x-axis, the x value will stay the same. We're going to change the sign of the y value. So P double prime is going to be -3, and we change that +1 to a -1. Q double prime, still going to have an x value of -2, but the y value is now going to be -5. R double prime, still going to have an x value of 0, but the y value is going to be -2. So now we can plot those points. So -3, -1, -2, -5, and 0, -2. So P double prime there, Q double prime, and then R double prime. That is how we do a composition of transformations. This is a very specific kind of composition of transformations. This is called a glide reflection because it is a translation in one direction and there's a reflection following it that is parallel to the direction of the translation, the axis of translation. So that is called a glide reflection. It's a very specific kind of composition of transformation. Now, ABC has vertices at -6, -2, -5, -5, and C is at -2, -1. So let's go ahead and plot those. There's -6, -2, -5, -5, and -2, -1 is there. So that triangle looks something like that. So that is our original A, B, C. Now we're going to rotate that 180 degrees. So that means we're going to have an A prime, a B prime, and a C prime following that 180 degree rotation, where we are going to switch the signs of every one of those points. So that would be at positive 6, positive 2, positive 5, positive 5, and positive 2, positive 1 is where A prime, B prime, and C prime will be. So go ahead and plot those. There's A prime, B prime will be there, and C prime will be there. So go ahead and plot those. So that's A prime, B prime, C prime. Now, we are going to do another transformation. This is a translation along -2, 4. So A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. What we're going to do is we're going to subtract 2 from every x value and add 4 to every y. So 6 minus 2 is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 plus 4 is 9. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. 1 plus 4 is 5. So this triangle, last triangle, will have vertices at 4, 6. That'll be A triple prime, or double prime, sorry. 3, 9. That's B double prime. And then at 0, 4. Oh, I did that wrong. This should be at 0, 5. Sorry, 0, 5. So erase that one. 0, 5. There we go. So then we have that, and that's C double prime. And that is our final image. The one thing that you need to notice about all of these, no matter how many transformations I do, as long as they are rigid transformations, my shapes are going to be congruent. All right, I'm not going to have any sides that are bigger or smaller. All the angles are going to be the same. As long as I do everything correctly, no matter what I do to these shapes, as far as rotations, translations, or reflections, they're all going to be congruent. All right. Lastly here, we have a segment, AB. It has endpoints at 1, -3. So down here. And B is at 3, -2. So that's B connected there. Okay, so now we are going to rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. So we got A prime, B prime. A prime is going to be 90 degrees counterclockwise. So that means we swap places of the x and y and make the y negative. So it's going to be 3, 1, and this will be 2, 3. So we can go ahead and plot those points. So 3, 1, and 2, 3. So this will be A prime. That's B prime. And then we're going to reflect that over the y-axis. So A double prime, B double prime. Reflected over the y-axis means we change the sign of the x value. So this becomes -3, 1. And this becomes -2, 3. Let's go ahead and plot those points. -3, 1. And -2, 3. So there's A double prime and B double prime. Alright, so that is how we do a composition of transformations. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or a Canvas message. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.